about 35 to 40 years old. So it is normal for an elephant bull of this size and the age to be on his own. So they tend to travel between the breeding heads and the other individual elephant bulls around the area. An elephant bull of this size and has no natural enemies. With a big pride of Lanson, we'll try and go for a baby elephant of the age of between 3 and 6. And having said that, the chances for the lions to go for baby elephants are very slim, because the mothers will never leave the babies unattended. So they're very protective over the youngsters. Yes, moving deep into the bushes now. We're going to be leaving him to it and try and follow up on this female epitraxia. They are relatively fresh, and possibly from last night or early this morning. Cindy, good morning to you. Cindy wants to know how tall the elephant bull is. I will say he is 3 times taller than me. Gonna check where the trucks went. They come walking up the road here, but I don't see them on this intersection here. So she could have either headed that way or headed down towards Gowrie Dam or cut straight through the quarantine. Just gonna quickly walk around and see, so that we can have an idea where to go and look for her. Okay, just as you're signing up, I walked around here. I'm just on this intersection to see whether she turned left or right or straight, and I didn't see any trucks coming up this way. But I walked down about 100 meters down the road just towards the Elephant Bull, and then the trucks cut off to the west towards the Bush Brine and the bottom edge of quarantine. So we're going to head down that way and see how far she went. So yeah, so she must have been hunting last night. So there could have been some antelopes around quarantine last night. That's why she cut off into the bushes, which is how the leopards hunt. So if they see the antelopes grazing, and then she'll cut off and then try and hunt them. Yeah. So let's go and see. So they tend to walk on the roads. Because it is much easier for them to walk on the road, as they have very, very soft pads. And again, they hardly make any sound when walking on the road. There's nothing to really worry about. So if they're walking through the bushes and then sometimes step on the dry sticks and spook the prey, or walk on the dry leaves, especially in the dry season, and make a little bit of a noise and alert the predators, the prey species about his presence, and they run away. So they do often spoil their own hunts. There's no trucks coming out here. No trucks up on this road. We're right on the western edge of quarantine, yeah? Southwestern edge of quarantine. Apparently the Juma guys and served gorilla tracks the day before, yesterday, on Gari cut line, and she went into that block between the cut line and Sandy Pitch area. And I think that the cubs are still hidden in the southwestern edge of our concession, yeah. Because about 4 or 5 days ago, she was seen on Triple M heading south, and she eventually headed into Simbambili. So I don't think that she is going to take the cubs up into the north anytime soon because of the lions and the hyenas activities in the northern part of the reserve. And surprisingly, the Kahumas have been precisely in the area where Gorilla and the cubs have been. So in the past couple of weeks or so, and then the Gorilla was around Tamboti Dam area, and then shortly after she had left that area, and then the lions came into that area. And also in the recent weeks, or in the recent week, Gorilla was down on Triple M, and the Kahumas have also been down on Triple M, just exactly where she was as well. So they're kind of following her around, but not on purpose, I suppose. They just appear to have been in the area where she has also been. Let's check the Lago shortcut rather. There's lots of high-end trucks coming up from Sandy Pet side, going down towards the lodge. I'm surprised that the hyenas in this area didn't come to the lodge to look for food during the night. I've seen the hyenas in many different reserves coming to the camps to look for food at night. I have also witnessed a fight between the honey badger and the hyena over food in the rubbish bin. was very interesting to see both species fighting over food. The honey badger eventually won the battle by killing the hyena. So the honey badger can be extremely dangerous here. There have been records of the honey badger killing even big buffalo bulls. When they are in the breeding season, which is usually in winter. It is a very interesting. A very interesting story that I have heard from a lot of the local people about the honey badger. They say if you encounter a honey badger, then you must actually protect your testicles. They tend to go for testicles when they fight. And this is a hyena that was fighting with the honey badger, and he was found with the testicles missing the following morning. And the buffalo bull was also found in the Kruger with the testicles missing from the honey badger. So they are very, very aggressive little creatures. I've also seen a pride of lions surrounding the honey badger in the Kruger. And never won. They eventually left the honey badger lying down on the ground. They didn't even touch the honey badger. He was very, very furious, and he was running around and approaching the different individual lines within the pride, and all of them just back off and eventually they decided to leave the honey badger on his own. And as the name implies, the honey badger, they are so fond of the bees' honey. So they'll dig the bee hives out and eat the honey. We also have a little bird called the honey not the honey badger, the greater honey guide, and makes a very interesting sound. Victory, victory, victory. I've never heard one of this particular bird since I've been here. I guess it's the right habitat for them, so maybe they're around. I just haven't heard one calling since I've been here. And basically this little bird, and then it'll fly around to and and locates the beehives. And if it does locate one, and it will go out and look for a honey badger, and if it does find the honey badger, and it will basically lead the honey badger to the beehives, and then the honey badger will dig it out, because they are incapable of digging, and the honey badgers are very, very capable of digging. They've got very long claws, which enables them to dig out the look at this, dig out the beehives, and they eat the honey, and then obviously the honey badger will leave some leftovers for a bird, the greater honey guy, to eat as well. So they've got a very, very strong relationship between the two of them. And he does ignore the bees' aggressions. You know, the bees can bite viciously, and this particular animal, the honey badger, has got a very thick layer of fat under its skin that obviously protect itself from the bees biting it. It's a spider. Bark spider. I managed to catch something during the night. A few flies are stuck in the web, as you can see. There's little black dots that you can see. Those are the flies that have been caught last night. And as the sun is rising, it's going to destroy the web, and then goes and slip in the branch of a tree. As the name implies, the bark spider, when it's sitting in the branch of a tree, and it looks almost like the part of the branch or a bark. That's how it got its name, bark spider. I'm going to try and avoid it, but I don't want to destroy its web. There comes the sun. It's gonna be a nice hot day. Another hot day in Africa. Karen, good morning to you. Karen wants to know if we do carry a weapon or a firearm if we get out of the vehicle to have a look around. No, we don't carry firearms. In fact, we don't have one. The game drive vehicles that carry guests, paying guests, do carry the firearm, and also if they do get out of the car to track something, they have to have a firearm to protect themselves. Because they do lots of tracking on food than we do. So what we basically do when we get out of the vehicle, we just walk around the vehicle. Sometimes we walk further away from the vehicle to look for the directions of the tracks. Our radius is within the vicinity that we cover. I would say is about 10 meters away from the vehicle, or 20 meters I would say. But not further than that. You can if you want to. But obviously we cannot leave the vehicle for more than 5 minutes. So 5 minutes is the average length of time that you can be away from the vehicle. And the reason why, and we don't or we will not leave the vehicle for a length of time is because we're worried about the camera person at the back of the vehicle, like Sebastian's and Hammond's. Catherine are very, very terrified of animals. So we do that just for the sake of them, yeah. Yeah. So I remember the other day, and I was driving with Seb, and I jumped out of the vehicle to look for lion tracks, and then he was like, "Are you really leaving me alone?"
Oh my word.
And I could see that the poor guy behind the camera was extremely, extremely terrified of me leaving him on the vehicle alone. Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't carry any firearms. So we're all very, very knowledgeable, experienced, and skilled in what we're doing. So as long as you don't jeopardize yourself and then you'll be fine. So, and as I said, we all know what we're doing. Even if I jump out of a vehicle and the lines or whatever I'm tracking comes out of the bush and charge me, and I know exactly how to handle that the situation. So we seem to have completely lost the tracks of the leopard, and I'm gonna be giving up, and I don't want to spend lots of time driving around in the same area looking for a leopard. She could be anywhere. She could be down the drainage line, or she could be in the thick bushes hunting, or she could be with the cubs, nursing them. So she could be anywhere. So I think we should move on and see what else we can find. We'll try again this afternoon. To the right, no, this is elephants, I think. Yeah. Breeding head of elephants. See this small baby tracks here. Headed down that way. I can see the droppings just down in the dip ahead of us. They were strolling along the road. Marching along the road. The gentle giants. More hyena tracks over here. Then piercing conzo. The horizon is quite misty this morning. It's looking absolutely gorgeous. Hippos at the dam. Just saw the little ears sticking out on the surface of the water at Wildearth Dam. We're going to have to go around the other side of the dam because the sun is shining directly into the hippos and us. As you know, that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west in the mountains, Drakensberg Mountains, which is our escarpment. No. Quack. The grey go-away bird, a grey lurie. Go away. Go away. I can see you. The hippopotamus amphibious. The aquatic species. Just listening to the variety of bird species calls around the dam. Lurie shouting in the foreground. The ducks also coming and coming out. The francolins welcoming the sun. It's absolutely a gorgeous morning. Yeah? The weavers are not too busy this morning. I can just see just a couple of them moving in and out of the nest every now and then. I saw one of the buffalo weavers flying in of a piece of a twig in its beak. So they're still busy refurbishing the nest. They've been refurbishing the nest for the past week or so. So that's the nest I'm talking about, the communal nest for red-billed buffalo weavers. And that is the masked weaver's nest. So the masked weaver's nest and almost look like the calabashes. I don't know if you know the calabash. The calabash is basically used as a drinking tool in most local villages. I think I've brought one and showed you on one of my faster shed long time ago, the Barzan show. And it basically keeps the water very, very nice and cool, just like a refrigerator. So if you look at the shape of the nest, and it pretty much look the same as the calabash. Just look at the beautiful surrounding of the dam. And this is Belfsuk Dam, by the way, for those who are following us on the map. So it's the biggest dam on Western Gowrie. Alrighty, shall we move on and see what else we can find?